None of the members of Klopp's first squad remain at the club, and very few have found success since leaving Anfield. Jurgen Klopp's first Liverpool 11 features no players that are still at the club, highlighting the transformation he has brought since his arrival. Players like Adam Lallana and Nathaniel Clyne have found new clubs and are still capable players in the Premier League. Philippe Coutinho's move to Barcelona did not work out as expected, and he is currently on loan at Al Duhail from Aston Villa. Jurgen Klopp first took over the Liverpool manager's job in October 2015, replacing Brendan Rodgers in the Anfield hot seat. The former Borussia Dortmund boss has endured an unbelievable tenure, one that has exceeded the expectations of even the most optimistic Liverpool fans, but the 56-year-old decided the 2023-24 season would be his last in charge of the Reds. The announcement that Klopp would be leaving the Merseyside outfit left the world of football shell-shocked, as the man who won the Premier League, FA Cup, League Cup and Champions League at the club, is to ride off into the sunset. He goes down as one of the greatest managers in Premier League history, having transformed the Reds from a mid-table side to serial title challengers. Comparing Klopp's first starting 11 to this current crop of Liverpool players highlights just how much the club's fortunes have changed during his spell as manager. In that match, Liverpool played out a 0-0 draw with Tottenham, but his high-energy, high-pressing style was clear for all to see. Remarkably, none of the 18 players remain at Anfield, highlighting the transformation the German manager has manufactured since his arrival. GK, Simon Mignolet, current club, Club Brugge. Mignolet was the first-choice goalkeeper when he first joined the club in 2013 and remained so for the best part of 4 seasons. However, several high-profile and decisive mistakes saw Klopp lose faith in the Belgian, and he eventually joined Club Brugge in 2019 after losing his place to Loris Karius and then Alisson Becker. The 36-year-old remains at Brugge now and has played more than 200 games for the club. Following his transfer to the club more than 4 years ago, the Belgian has helped his side to 3 league titles and still has plenty of time to add to that tally. RB, Nathaniel Clyne, current club, Crystal Palace. Clyne is another who started as a regular under Klopp and was perhaps unlucky not to feature more for England. However, a string of injuries coupled with the emergence of Trent Alexander-Arnold saw the Englishman fall out of favour. In 2020, he joined Palace, where he initially faced similar injury problems before establishing himself as the starting right-back. His absence from the Liverpool team kick-started the best version of the Reds under Klopp, as Alexander-Arnold's attacking style was completely different to the ex-Southampton man's more defensive approach. This switch-and-play style ensured Liverpool became one of the best teams going forward in the country, while Clyne is still a very capable player at a mid-table Premier League club. CB, Martin Skrtel, current club, retired. Despite enjoying a successful career at Liverpool, Skrtel was sold by Klopp in the summer of 2016 to Fenerbahce after he spent large parts of the previous season on the bench. He spent 3 seasons in Turkey before a failed spell at Atlanta saw him last just 3 weeks with the Italian side. Skrtel returned to Slovakia to play for semi-pro side FK Hajskala Reztokno. In 2022, the defender called time on his career. The best spell of his Liverpool career had come under Rodgers, when he bagged 7 goals as the club went ever so close to lifting the Premier League title in the 2013-14 campaign. CB, Moreno and Sakho, current club, Sakho arrived at Liverpool from PSG with plenty expected of him. And though his header against Borussia Dortmund in the Europa League quarter-finals will live long in the memory, his time at Anfield was mostly underwhelming. The Frenchman was sold to Crystal Palace in 2017, before being shipped out to Montpellier in 2021. An altercation with his manager at the French club saw Sakho released in October 2023, and the ex-Red centre-back remains without a club. More than a decade on from his arrival in England, it's safe to say the former PSG defender never reached the heights that were expected of him. LB, Alberto Moreno, current club, Villarreal. Moreno was excellent going forward at times, but was often a liability defensively. In 2019, Klopp determined enough was enough and sold the Spaniard to Villarreal. Andy Robertson's emergence to become one of the best left-backs on the planet made the Germans' decision to allow Moreno to leave easier. The following year, Moreno suffered a cruciate ligament injury which kept him out of action for more than 6 months. But in 2021, he was part of the Villarreal side that won the Europa League, scoring in the decisive shootout versus Manchester United. The Spaniard remains with the Spanish outfit in 2024. Emre Can, current club, Borussia Dortmund. Klopp was a big fan of Can, even if the German was pretty inconsistent at the best of times. However, the midfielder chose to run down his contract and signed for Juventus on a free in 2018. After just 2 extremely underwhelming seasons in Italy, Can moved to Borussia Dortmund, where he remains today. The 30-year-old formed a good partnership with Jude Bellingham in central midfield before the Englishman moved to Real Madrid in 2023. After Marco Reus decided he would step down as club captain in 2023, Can was handed the honor of leading the famous team in black and yellow out onto the pitch each week, and managed to guide them to a Champions League final in 2024. Lucas Leiva, current club, retired. The Brazilian made almost 350 appearances for the Reds and established himself as a cult hero. Initially being a defensive midfielder, Klopp showed trust in Lucas to play an important role at centre-back at times. In 2017, he joined Lazio, where he was a first-team regular for 5 seasons. After rejoining former club Gremio in June 2022, Lucas played 18 times before announcing his retirement in March 2023. Despite his impressive club career, Lucas was capped just 24 times by Brazil. Many Liverpool fans will say he deserved more. Adam Lallana, current club, Brighton. Lallana spent 6 seasons at Liverpool and scored some impressive goals in that time. Yet, for a player who was once viewed as one of the most promising talents in English football, he never quite lived up to his potential. Klopp got the best out of him as a central midfielder. But injuries eventually caught up with Lallana and made it increasingly difficult to keep up with the intense style of play. Still, after leaving in 2020, Lallana joined Brighton and has remained a solid Premier League player ever since. He is one of the leaders at the Amex of a young and exciting Brighton team that reached the knockout rounds of the Europa League for the first time in their history. Nevertheless, the 36-year-old will depart the South Coast club at the end of the 2023-24 season when his contract expires. LW, Philippe Coutinho, current club, Al Duhail, loan. What a player Coutinho was for Liverpool. The Reds were desperate not to lose the Brazilian, but when Barcelona came calling with an offer of £142 million, it was too good to turn down. It's turned out to be brilliant business, however, with Coutinho flopping hard at the Catalonian club. The midfielder returned to the Premier League to sign for Aston Villa with his former teammate Steven Gerrard in charge at the time, but the English manager's dismissal was the beginning of the end for Coutinho at Villa Park. Nowadays, he's on loan at Qatar Stars League club Al Duhail, RW. James Milner, current club, Brighton. Many were surprised when Liverpool chose to bring in an aging Milner from Manchester City in 2015, but he proved to be one of their best signings in recent memory. Capable of playing in a number of positions, Milner made 332 appearances for the Reds, before leaving the club last summer. He's since joined Lallana at Brighton and has been a valuable addition for the Seagulls. He was the most versatile player in Klopp's Liverpool squad, as shown by the fact he started the manager's first game on the wing, before playing in central midfield and both fullback positions. Even at 38, his adaptability and experience make him a valuable player for Roberto De Zerbi, St. Divock Origi, current club, Nottingham Forest, loan. Though he was never a regular, Liverpool fans will forever remember Origi for his plethora of memorable goals. His scorpion kick versus Preston, his goal in the Champions League final and his last-minute winner versus Everton are just a handful of goals that are etched in Liverpool folklore. In July 2022, the Belgian signed for AC Milan on a 4-year contract where he scored just twice in 36 appearances. He's now on loan at Nottingham Forest for the 2023-24 season but has been forced to settle for a backup role with Chris Wood and Taiwo Awoniyi firmly ahead of the 29-year-old in the pecking order. Substitutes: Joe Allen, Jordan Ibe, Adam Bogdan, João Carlos Teixeira, Jerome Sinclair, Kolo Touré, Conor Randall, with the exception of Joe Allen, who made more than 100 appearances for Liverpool. None of the subs enjoyed successful careers at the Reds. Allen is now back at Swansea, where he started his career, while IBE is at Ebbsfleet in the Nation League. Touré is now retired and most recently managed Wigan, before being sacked last January. Bogdan played just 2 Premier League games for the Reds and is now a free agent at 36. Teixeira was touted as a player for the future, but his Liverpool career never took off. The Portuguese midfielder has played for numerous clubs since and is currently at Shanghai Shenhua. Finishing things off, Randall is playing his football at Ross County as of now, while Sinclair now runs a fried chicken shop despite being the club's youngest ever player.